Man, tell him to keep his head up too. I still remember he was always damn near breaking his neck trying to tackle people.
Yeah.
Still remember. What's up, everyone? This is Niyi Adewale, and I am the host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind group. This group meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the members of this group are committed to achieving financial freedom while we're still young enough to actually enjoy it. So in this podcast, you're going to get VIP access to the conversations that we have about different forms of investment and ways to get your dollars working harder for you than you worked to first acquire those dollars. Our guest this week was a former football teammate of mine at Temple University, Abdul Smith. Abdul's been investing in a myriad of things over the last few years, but in 2019 decided to crack into the real estate space by buying his first personal property. He moved out in 2020, has gotten a taste of renting that, and now is looking to purchase more property in the Trenton, New Jersey area. Toward the end of the conversation, we're also joined by another former teammate who is a wholesaler in the Northeast in the PA, Delaware area, who's now looking to shift some operations to the Atlanta area and crack into this market as well. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. Dooley, how you been?
Wait, that's from Temple?
Absolutely.
Hey man, you know it's crazy. I was in Atlanta like 2 weeks ago and I ran into him.
You didn't hit me up?
Randomly, man. I thought
Come
about
on,
hitting you
man.
up, but it was too late. I'll be back soon. I still got my family. I got a lot of my family that lives down there. My girl wanted to do all this sightseeing. She really, it was just a tourist visit for me for like 2 days, not even. My family has like a big house. It's like a Stone Mountain area.
Stone Mountain is starting to, you can still get properties for like $200K, but there's some areas of Stone Mountain where it's $1 million homes, big property.
Yeah, no, this one, the value went up. I used to live down there. I moved back in 2016 and they had just got it. And I think they got it for like 400 something. Now it's worth 700 something. Yeah, it's Smoke Ridge. That's where it's at, Smoke Ridge.
Okay. Dooley, last time we talked, man, we were running some numbers on a couple properties, a couple duplexes, I want to say. Did you end up pulling the trigger on one of those?
No, I ended up buying like a single family home.
Mm-hmm.
I lived there for a while and then I started renting it out because I was traveling a lot. June 2019, I got the house. I lived there for like a year. Then I started renting it out because I was like going to go a lot. I ended up entering an auction last December, trying to see if I can get in on any properties, me and a few friends, but it's a lot of people who man, they get first dibs. They overpay for a lot of the properties. Prices I wasn't trying to pay for. It was just a learning experience, just me just seeing what's out there, going on a few tours, just seeing what's available. But they hopped on a lot of the things. Like the city where I'm from, they have these auctions, I think every December, these housing auctions, like houses that have been on the market or foreclosed, and the new mayor is just trying to get people to buy them up and try to bring in some type of income for the city as well. And
I've heard of that. It's usually like the foreclosed properties, right? They were doing this. Somebody sent me an article. They were doing this randomly in a town in Italy where they want people to buy up a bunch of these properties. And I think there's like a stipulation that you have to fix it up within a couple of years. Is there anything like that?
There's ways around it. The rule is you have to live there for 5 years. That's what they say. But these people are not moving to these properties. Like there's ways around it. I got to find what exactly they are. But there's people who say like, oh, this crime happened here, so I don't feel safe, and things to that nature that you can get away without living there. Because a lot of the investors who bought the homes, they're never going to step foot in the homes today to live there. So yeah, I got to smarten up and get some type of insight on what exactly they're doing to beat around the bush. But yeah, these homes were, the starting bids were relatively low. And then the estimates to what they were listed for, what they were going for double or triple the worth. And I'm like, yeah, man, they overpaid crazy. But
yeah, it all depends on people's situation too. Out here, I can tell you that it's similar.
Where at?
In Atlanta? Yeah, I moved here in February and I've owned a couple properties in Louisville that we talked about. I sold the one I had in Boston, and now Two things. One, so many people are moving to Atlanta that the appreciation
Yeah,
is going crazy. And
yeah.
two, the money that the government put into the economy with COVID is making a lot of people turn to real estate. So my whole goal here is to buy as many of these properties as I can quickly. And I'm actually working with a couple other investors to do that because over the next, I think, 3 to 5 years, I don't see this stopping. I see it keep going up. And I've already seen the benefit from even the personal property I'm sitting in right now. And before you even jump into that, I'll tell you a little bit about that. Before that, this single family home, were you renting it long term or short term?
Oh, just short term, short term.
Like
Couple.
Airbnb?
No. I'm sorry. It was long term. It was 6 months.
Okay. Okay. And how did that go? You mentioned it was kind of hit and miss. Did it work out well or were there some learnings?
It was just I had to stay on top of the tenant. Hey, you got to pay this. Hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you just things of that nature
Mhm.
that I had to stay on top of the tenant. And then things in the house were getting damaged here and there, like pipe issues or certain things. They brought insects or rodents. I had to fix all of that, those problems, those issues that weren't there when they got there. So certain things like that, the plumbing one time in the wintertime, the heat one time. So yeah, it seems good, the money's coming in, but then like you got to think of all the negative things that's going to happen. That's going to take away from that too. For me, it was just a learning experience, just to try to get my feet wet.
That is the key. Like literally, I don't know if you remember my guy, Christian Dorosini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and him talk all the time, investments, all that stuff. And he's just now purchased his third property. And he went through a similar experience with the first one. But if you keep pushing through and develop some systems, and then also just the way you screen and stuff like that, it's well worth it if you keep buying, And
Yeah.
is your goal to keep getting some more buy and holds, or are you looking to flip or what?
Eventually, I just keep my eyes open to see, not really flipping homes, just buy and holds, and eventually just become a long-term renter. I just keep my eyes open because every time I see something, then I see something else. Like I go out of the country, want to buy land, want to build something out there. So it's like, yeah, I'm all over the place right now.
Yeah, no, I'm one to try to focus on one area at a time, just because you can get the economies of scale, right? With one property, it's tough to be able to hand it over to a property management and or even buy some of the systems that make it a little easier because you're going to eat a lot of the cash flow. But like in Louisville, when I first started, I was managing my own property. It was a triplex. And then I started building up from there. And the software that really helped initially to get those first couple units under belt and not go crazy trying to manage and hey, there's this issue, that issue. I use something called Buildium. I don't know if we talked about that before.
We talked about the Louisville property. You lived there for a while, and you also had the tenants in the other duplexes that you were renting out to them.
Yes. And I lived for free for that first year. Well, really, it was about 6 months before I moved to Boston. And when I was in Boston, I kept buying. But the reason I was able to do that is in this game, and you know this, you got to treat it like a business. So even the way we were collecting money, I used this system called Buildium that would allow tenants to pay online. And if they were late, say it hit the second day of the month at midnight, it automatically hit them with a late fee, automatically sent the notice to them. And my lawyers were alerted that, hey, we might need to get ready to send like a 7-day notice, all that. From a screening perspective, people were able to fill out applications that they paid for. It took credit check, background check. You really knew who was going in there. And if they didn't meet a certain criteria, they just weren't admitted, right? And so
Yeah,
that's
you got
working.
write this down in the chat and send it to me. The name of the Buildium.
Yeah,
Yes, I
solid.
gotta remember to check that out.
Buildium.com. And there's so many now, but this is the one I really like. And so on this one, you can build out your listings, and whenever it's vacant, you just hit post, and it posts it on Zillow, it posts it on apartments.com, everywhere, Craigslist. And then as far as just the maintenance and being able to handle all that, everything I did was online. So I was managing 15 units from Boston by myself before I moved it to property management. I managed for like a year because of this system, because I built it up. And we can definitely, if you're looking to get into something like that, or after you get your next property, we can sit down and walk through how to build it up.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, have you talked to Bodie lately? Because he does something similar. I was out in Texas with him this summer. He has a few properties that he's building up in Houston. Houston is like kind of like how Atlanta is. Houston is becoming Atlanta. It's very similar in a lot of ways. Just more space there. Even me going there from when I moved back like 5 years now. When I was down there in 2016, it was a homeless population downtown. They pretty much kicked them out because I used to go every other Sunday, give back to them. They kicked them out of the way because they started building, expanding more projects, more properties everywhere in Atlanta. But Houston is like very similar to Atlanta, but they just have more space down there. It's cheaper too.
Yeah. And Houston, I got a couple guys out there. One, I need to hit up Bodie. I haven't been out there in forever. Literally, it's been at least 4 or 5 years. So I need to hit him up. And I got a friend down there that's doing a trucking business out of Houston. He's doing a couple Airbnbs. And he's actually buying, I think, a spec home they're building. Because to your point, there's so much land, they just keep building. So switching over to kind of what we were talking about before, right? The home in Atlanta. I moved here in February. And it's crazy how you can start to leverage these homes to get more. So I bought this house that I'm staying in for $670, which is a hell of a lot, right? The mortgage on this is $3,800. I can tell you, I would not feel comfortable paying a $3,800 mortgage or signing my name to that unless there was something else at play, right? And so with this home, what I was looking for specifically was a single family with an in-law suite. And the reason for that is a couple of my guys out in Chicago and Houston, right, that we just mentioned, were doing Airbnb, and they kept telling me about the numbers. And I'm like, man, I don't know. What about this? What about that? How do you handle turnovers and all that? And thankfully, I just decided, hey, let's just try it out, right? And the best way to try it, in my eyes, a low risk way, is to try it with the home that you live in. And so the in-law suite that I have downstairs is a 1-bed, 1-bath. And this thing, since April, since I got it up and running, has been pulling in $2,500 a month on average, with the best month being $3,200. And so when you look at it like that, that $3,800, it's really only like what, 13?
13, yeah.
Yeah, 13 that I'm paying per month or less, which is so fast forward to kind of the strategy I got now. I picked up another property in the same neighborhood that's a full house that I'm renting out, and then for Airbnb. And I'm also partnered with 2 other investors out here, one flipper and one just buy and hold investor. And I'm managing theirs with systems as well.
What area are you in? Like
I'm in East Atlanta Village, to be exact. So same place that Gucci, Future, all those guys rapping about, you know, it's just like Dumbo, like Brooklyn. It's completely gentrified.
Decatur area?
Close. Decatur is 1 county over.
Okay. People don't realize how big it is. Like, and you could be like, somebody say, oh, I'm in Atlanta. You could be an hour away. Yeah, like Midtown is like the central location to everything. Buckhead, Midtown area.
Yes.
That's like the central location to everything. But even when I was looking, because I would have just stayed at my cousin's house that I go down there, but my girl was just being picky. She wanted to choose. So I'm like, all right, just go get whatever. But yeah, man, she was looking and she was having a hard time. Like, yeah, it gets booked up fast. It's Halloween weekend. The Braves are playing. You have so many homecomings going on. Like, everybody's going to be down there. I was trying to explain to her, but man, that's a great opportunity having Airbnbs down there. It's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing for me is not really the Airbnb. That money's cool, but it goes back to what we were talking about before. I want the property itself. There's so many people moving down here that want to be in this neighborhood and other neighborhoods that the values of these homes are going up. So this home I bought in February, it was $670, right? I paid $20K over asking for it because I knew, hey, I can make this downstairs at Airbnb. And at least what I was shooting for was $1,500 a month, and I can make the numbers work from there. But the 25 is way better, right? But since then, and I'm still working through it, I'm going through the final documents. I think it's in processing right now. The value has increased to $745. And so my guy Christian, you know, I told you about, he recently got a HELOC on his first home that he bought in 2019, and he got $50K HELOC on that, right? So he was telling me about it. I was like, wait, what's the process for this? And it's really not that hard. So long story short, I reached back out to the bank, asked them for a HELOC, and we're working through getting about $100K HELOC on this house that I can now use to invest in more deals.
Okay, man, that's dope. Where are the properties that he buys? Like, he's in PA.
Yeah, he's out in Lancaster, PA.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's near where the Capitol is.
You know who else is into real estate too?
Really?
Yeah, he's in the stocks. I was talking to him about stocks, but he's in the process of selling the house now, or he purchased the house, or he's trying to rent it out or sell it. He's in between of what he wants to do. Yeah, I messaged him after we get off of here tonight. He's on Twitter though, for sure.
Man, tell him to keep his head up too. I still remember he was always damn near breaking his neck trying to attack people.
Yeah.
I still remember.
Yeah, man.
No, that's awesome, man. The auction. So when you talk about the auction, you mentioned that you're partnered with a couple other people to go and buy these deals. Are you guys coming with full cash, like to buy it straight out?
Well, a lot of them have majority of the cash. I was just going to have a portion of it. It was depending on how much. Like, we would have split it. Me and like two of my boys, we're all from the same city. We all had similar things in mind. Just me and two other guys. My boy, his dad. So that kind of was what we were looking at last year at the time. But things just kind of didn't go. We had budgets and stuff that we were looking at, and we grew up in the city, so we knew what areas and what properties were worth at the time, and we weren't really willing to go over that because of just we didn't want to chase things because we kind of know how the city is. But it's just at the same time, like our city, Trenton, it's the capital, so it's good and bad that happens there. So we're waiting for the gentrification process. It's been going on all over like the country, so we're kind of waiting for it to start here. It's been talked about for years and years, but it hasn't really started yet. So we're just trying to get a jump on it.
Of course. And I mean, you got that advantage of growing up there and knowing the city to where these bigger outside investors that just come and buy a whole block, they're not going to know, hey, this is a deal. This is right on the path of progress because we know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So with the line of credit, right? What I'm planning to do with that, because I've never done the auction thing. And well, better yet, let me take a step back. Do you listen to Bigger Pockets podcast, Abdul?
No. Who does that one?
It's a bunch of people that do the podcast, but there was a recent guy on there by the name of Pace Morby, and he does a lot of creative financing with sellers, and he's able to get a lot of off-market deals without having to go through bank financing. And long story short, I heard the episode and was so inspired that I'm actually trying to call a couple sellers and work through this. And I have one that I got in contact with literally 2 days ago. And we've been going back and forth on potentially getting an off-market deal through financing where the seller is going to just keep the mortgage on me. And I would just pay them on a monthly basis. The house needs a lot of work, but it's in this same neighborhood. And I know the numbers from an Airbnb standpoint. And I have a flipper friend that can flip it and kind of get the money coming in.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be dope.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Is my background loud? I'm at the gym. That's why I couldn't unmute myself, but I'm doing a hydro now, so I'm in a room. Is it too loud in here?
No, you're good.
All good?
All good, man. All good. I like that you getting the work in.
Yeah, man. I'm trying, man. Trying to just gut. Y'all, I don't think y'all 30 plus yet. Dooley, you 30?
Yeah, I'm 30, man.
Okay.
Man, I just turned 30 last month, man. It's sobering. It's like when I was 29, I get out of bed, feel okay, but now I get out of bed, I'm like, hold up, what's going on?
Feel everything. All those football energies gonna sneak up on you.
Hey, come on now. Don't put that on me. Don't do that.
Coming, bro. It's coming.
Hey, we talked a little bit through just messaging, but what you got going on, man? I didn't know you were in real estate as well.
Yeah, I've been in real estate for a minute, bro. Like 2013, 14, or so I got licensed way back when. And like I told you, I was doing that for a while, mainly working with investors just like yourself. Because initially, when I got into the business, I was like, I'm not doing this shit where I'm like going to 100 homes with somebody. They want to live near a dog park, all of this shit. I'm just like, it's not for me. I want to work with investors who care about dollars and cents. So I know you understand that. So that was a transition for me. And then really wholesaling opened up for me. And that was a wrap for that. just concerning being licensed and finding deals. All I do now is just trying to find off-market deals and offload them.
And what's your process like for making calls, and do you buy lists? How are you finding these?
We were mainly doing foreclosure. Like I like to specialize in probate deals. So most of our stuff was in, like they would cross both paths. It would, in addition to being a foreclosure, it would also be a probate. So I kind of have a source for that down at City Hall. And we also kind of built out this proprietary script that kind of pulls in data. Think about it this way: when a mortgage company forecloses on you, it's like you're probably like 90 days and 120 days into default on your mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. So we were getting defaults like on day 1 or day 2 of them initiating with their lawyer. They would file it, but you might even be able to see these pre-foreclosures on Zillow, but they're not there for like 90 or 120 days. We're getting it on day 1. So we were kind of beating people to deals by like 2 or 3 months. And that was working out really good for us until coronavirus hit, and we're not really getting a lot of that good data. So I'm looking for other markets just until that opens back up again, other sources.
Okay, that makes a lot. And when you look at like these wholesale deals, right? I'm guessing you have a whole buyers list and people that you send these to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I have a couple people as well as myself that would love to be on those lists just to take a look, especially in and around the Atlanta area, trying to get as many of these properties as possible. And also, do you call in any multifamilies, like small multifamilies?
Not really. I don't get a lot of multifamily, mainly just single family resident deals.
Okay. That's fair. And you mentioned you were licensed before. Are you still licensed now, or you switched completely off of that?
No, I'm still licensed in PA and Delaware. I just kind of escrowed it. I didn't really need it. And I went to Delaware just to work in probate. So that's really like my bread and butter. We're still doing probates in Delaware. We just found out, a line on probates in Georgia. I don't know if you know about that, but it's all public information. But we just have a team that calls out on those, and we know how to get those deals closed.
Nice.
Just straight up cold calls, bro.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And honestly, once you get good at that, that's because you can also start building out a flipping team if you wanted to, or many other opportunities. Finding the deal is the hardest part.
Yeah. No, in Philly, we were doing crazy deals, bro. Like I would say, I think my first deal in Philly, I probably did like 85 grand on. Like our average on the deals that we get is probably like 40 grand in profit. So it didn't like make any sense for me to be licensed or to even like do the fix and flip, go do the work. But I leave it up to you guys.
Tell you what, I just texted she's not able to join tonight, but this is one of my partners here. I invest in a couple of her flips, and I manage one of her Airbnbs, and we're working on a couple of things. But I got 2 that I own, and then I manage 2 others. So 4 total right now. And I'm working on this off-market deal to try to get a 5th one.
Okay. I ended up getting one in Delaware like last year.
Yeah.
And did you see that one on my Instagram?
No, I gotta check it out.
Okay, yeah. But that was just an arbitrage deal. Like I don't own that at all. I just,
The arbitrage is cool, right? And it's a great way to get started. In my mind, I want to have the asset though, right? Because appreciation and just being able to sell that if you need to in the future. But how's the arbitrage going for you? Does the apartment complex know you're doing that?
Like I had a line on the property management. Like that was my background, property management. So you brought up building. I was like, oh shit, I haven't heard that in a while. Like I'm familiar with building and AppFolio, all of that shit. But yeah, like I know the property manager there. So, it's a cool little deal for me. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but it's definitely working out for me. Even in Newcastle, Delaware, because it's, so close to Philly. But then you still have like Christiana Mall, a bunch of different attractions still in Wilmington. We're pretty I think we're probably like 85, 90% occupancy every single month.
That's dope. You wouldn't think about that in Delaware.
You would never think Delaware. Like that's the last place you would think. But like that's what I'm thinking is like those kind of outskirt markets that people overlook where rent is still really cheap. So, 1 bedroom there is still under $1,000. I think that one was like $950 for like 700 square feet. It's crazy. Can you imagine doing that in Atlanta? Fuck no.
No, I don't know. Unless you're gonna go to the undeveloped part, and even then you're still gonna be paying the rent.
But the thing is, in Atlanta, people used to move down there because it used to be cheaper. My ex-girlfriend, she had a spot. I was going down there in 13, 14. She had a spot. She was paying $650, 1 bedroom. She was paying $650 around the Tucker area. It's around the Tucker area. She was paying for like a 650, 700. They moved it up year after year, but it was 650 like 6 years ago for one bedroom.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking like, let me take my East Coast money and go down south and live like a king.
Yeah, like it started going like,
nah.
everything that's going on with inflation and everything. Like, yeah, times have changed.
Getting worse with the money that was put into the market over the last 2 years. Not saying it wasn't needed, but man, it is only getting worse.
Yeah. No, but you were saying like the arbitrage, like, you know, you want the asset, but my perspective is I'm not holding anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm against that. Like we have two different investment models, so I'm all about getting in and getting out and not really having anything long term.
Really? Okay. So what is that? That's a different, and I love hearing different perspectives, right? I'm all about, it's like Dooley's got the house, he's looking to get another one. I'm more of a buy and hold. So what is your end goal with the money that you're making from wholesaling and then from the B&B? Are you gonna invest in stocks? Are you gonna buy assets?
Yeah. So like for me, I'm a guy, you know, some people take money from other places, whether it's W2, whatever, and put it into real estate. I'm somebody that takes money from real estate and puts it into small businesses. So that's really my model. I think that's more sustainable. Just for me, like that's just where I'm comfortable.
And what kind of businesses?
Trucking. So I have a business in trucking. I have a truck dispatching company now. I have a medical marijuana certification company, like a telehealth platform. And then I'm still doing like lead inspections. Like I started that company, and so I'm still doing that. But just like a bunch of different things. But I'm all about starting a small business that can generate $1,000, $2,000 a day. I'd rather have that all day long than wait for an asset to appreciate or not.
Man, I know that trucking's probably killing it right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's super profitable. And then the need for truckers, I just saw an article how the need for truckers is going up crazy right now.
Julie, you got a truck?
Nah, I got a friend that's in Atlanta right now. He's a club promoter at night. He got a whole bunch of trucking businesses. He moved from Jersey down there. I don't got it, but he's been talking to me about it for a minute, trying to get me and invest in it. But I'm like, damn, I got so much money tied. Like I lost so much money in stocks because I pulled out too early. So much money that I could have had in like AMC and other stocks. So it's just like sometimes I just leave my money into the stocks and just I gotta let it see where it goes, because man, I could have made over 100,000 if I got patient enough in AMC. I made profit, but not nearly as much as I would have made. Yeah,
that's something you won't ever hear me talking about, stocks and crypto. It's not my lane. I don't even try.
It wasn't for me either. I just put money in it just because, and like even now,
you know what's crazy? I had like $5,000. I'm just like, you know what? This is enough. I can easily lose this money and not, cry about it. So I'm like, let me take maybe $3 or $4 grand and put it into crypto and just see what happens. Because at that point, it was going crazy.
Yeah.
The day after I invested in Bitcoin, what happened that day? Like China did some shit, right? Remember that day where crypto lost? Like,
they said they cracked down on it and they said, hey, we're not using this.
Bro, I invested the day before that.
Wow.
Then I'm like, you know what? Let me invest in Dogecoin. I invest in Dogecoin. The very next day, Elon Musk goes on TV and says some dumb shit.
Yeah, he does that.
Falls like crazy. And that's when I knew, bro. That's when I knew. I'm like,
twice. Hey, that's fair. That's literally when it comes to that stuff, I'm pretty risk averse, right? Real estate is what I know and buy and hold. And so with the stocks, I do Vanguard, which is just the total market. It's an index fund, right? I just do that consistently and it goes up over time.
Yeah, it's long play.
Elon Musk has so much control of the market. It's crazy. Whatever he says or tweet, it dictates where it goes up or down.
Yeah. How do you live by that? I couldn't. No,
not like my
irrational. I can't live like that.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I try not to stay in things that he's in, especially because like Tesla's going to be like the next Amazon type stock because of everything he's doing. People are going to want to go to space. He's talking about creating a school of technology in Texas, but it's going to be crazy the things he's going to be doing, and he has so much control. Tesla hit his all-time high, 1,200 something last week, and then he went on to tweet something dumb about he's going to sell his Tesla stock, and it dropped down to 1,000 this week.
Damn.
So he dictates the market. It's crazy.
But you know what it is about crypto is like, crypto is supposed to be a currency, but it's not traded like a currency. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not really using it every day. I mean, maybe that's coming down the road, but you're not using it the way currency is used. So even that is not really even attached to any value. Like what makes it go up and down? Just speculation and talk, right? So like at least a stock is attached to a company that has a valuation and a balance sheet I can look at and be like, all right, they're making money or they're not making money. Like I don't even.
They're looking at it as if the paper value of the dollar is, as the years goes on, it's going to depreciate. And the dollar's not going to be worth anything the years goes on. So Nipsey Hussle was talking about crypto years ago.
Yeah.
I was listening to it and not understanding what he was talking about. Like he was visiting cities out of the country that just use crypto. And I just last week I seen a Bitcoin machine in the store. So it's becoming
in a regular store.
Yeah, I'll see you a picture of it. I sent it in the store.
Yeah, the ATM
store in New Jersey last week. So I'm like, it's becoming a thing.
But I'm saying, even for the ATMs, right? They're not going to the ATMs to spend money or to get or to, you know what I mean? You're loading your account with money. So I guess you're turning dollars into actual Bitcoin, but then you're not spending it. You just, everybody's using it for investment purposes, so it's not a currency.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's gonna last good. That's just my opinion.
You don't like Dogecoin and other ones are like a joke.
Right. But I'm like, if you can get in and get out, fuck it.
Yeah.
But people are taking this shit way too seriously. Get in, get out, make your money, and keep it pushing.
I want to mention one thing. One is I need to get you in touch. I'm going to link you guys via email to myself and also this flipper that I have, because she's all for seeing some of the deals that you may have from a wholesale standpoint. But what you got?
No. So I was talking about PAs when I was talking about where we're working. You're saying your flipper is in Georgia or PA?
Oh, yeah. She's in Georgia. Okay. And I'm in Georgia.
Okay. But that's also not a problem because I'm starting to find some deals now in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's my bread and butter, bro. Off-market deals. Wherever I go, I sniff them out.
I love it, man. I love it. And have you ever done any like seller financing type deals?
I'm familiar with that. I never had the opportunity of doing it. Like I've done some creative type deals with, on the mortgage side where people are behind and we're able to take over, like mortgage takeovers, that sort of thing. So in the same realm, but not exactly seller financing.
I'm trying to figure it out right now. I just connected with another person who has done a couple of those and he's walking me through it. This game is cool. One, it's energizing. And two, there's so many ways to be creative about getting a deal and make it work for both sides. All right. And that was our episode. I want to thank you again for tuning in this week. And if you found this insightful, please leave a rating and review, and also go ahead and click that subscribe button in your favorite podcast listening app. I hope that everybody has a great rest of the week, and I look forward to connecting with you next week.